Hello everyone, I'm here today with a new video, and this one is a flip-through video, and it's a little bit of a surprise. My family and I took a trip to Madison in August of 2021, and I originally thought I wasn't going to do anything about it on YouTube because my kids are in it. And when I started going through everything, getting things ready, I realized actually they were in one photo and it wasn't even good. They don't like having their photos taken, typical teenage boys. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna scrap it and then we'll see how it goes. Well, I started and it ended up going so quickly, it's done already. So now I have a flip through. So as you can see here, I've already put my title on. This is a Simple Stories flip book. So if you've never seen these, this is what they look like. There's the logo right there. And one of the things I like about this is I love the 6x8 size, but I also love that it almost forces you to keep things simple because this is all you have to work with. Could I have gotten a couple more page protectors in here? Sure, but I didn't need them. I really tried to keep this to just what was needed, what I enjoyed the most, and I just let it be. So having said that, let's take a look. And before we start, another thing I want to note is that if you've used any of these, or even if you haven't, one of the things to note is your page styles are somewhat limited. Simple Stories does not have a super huge set of options for page types. So when you see something like this is not from Simple Stories. It's from another manufacturer, or I cut it down, which is the case with this one. This was actually a page protector that came from, I think it's Close to My Heart. And I like those because they have the same gutter width as the flip books do. Because this is a little bit different than some other manufacturers. And then some page protectors really have no gutter. This you have to have there or it's not going to turn right. And I discovered Close to My Heart is the right size, so why not use them? So I had this one and I cut it down to fit, and then notice this, it actually opens on a side with this particular style. And at first I thought that was gonna bother me, but I've actually learned to like it. As I go through this, I'll try to point out the ones that I had to DIY so that it's clear, because I don't want you thinking, oh, I can find that from Simple Stories when you actually can't. So here's my opening page. I just did a quick screenshot of our route. I love doing that when I travel, especially road trips, because it makes it easy to see where we started, where we ended. So we actually stayed in a town outside of Madison called Albany, and it's quite small, but we found a cool Airbnb there, and so that's why we did it. And it was just nice to be outside of the city a little bit. And then this is right when we entered. So this was our first look at the inside of where we're staying. And it was actually a remodeled storefront building in this little town. It was part of the town's revitalization project, and so a couple decided to use some funds to remodel and create an Airbnb. So it was quite a unique spot. My kids didn't like it as much as we did. They said they really preferred some other places that we've stayed because they were cozier. I really thought it was cool. It was a very unique experience, and I would do it again. But here you can see I just did some puffy stickers, easy stamping, more puffy stickers. I tried to keep these to a minimum because I didn't want to add a lot of bulky things, because again, I needed to keep this fairly slim in terms of what I could fit in there. So I ended up using just a lot of regular stickers, some die cuts or ephemera pieces that were flat. And then I did a lot of journaling in here, more than I thought that I would when I started out. So you can see a lot of these journal cards are quite full. And then here is just, they had some funny coffee mugs, and we thought they were appropriate because the last day we were here was our 20th anniversary. So we thought, well, that's good that they have Mr. Right and Mrs. Always Right. And then we decided to get breakfast in the morning because we came in kind of late afternoon, early evening in the first day. So we got breakfast the next morning at just this little hometown cafe down the street. And I love greasy spoon kind of places, so this was perfect. So of course I had to scrap about that. And again, when you look at these, pretty flat. This is maybe the most thick element I have on here, and that's a wood veneer, and even that isn't that bad. And I just happen to have this card set with colors that match this decor perfectly. So super happy about that. And then it was off to Olbrich Gardens. I love this place. Anytime I'm in Madison, I try to get there if it's good weather. So I spent several hours there while the boys were off doing what they wanted to do. And then here I added a chipboard piece, and I have to say this and both of these came from the same set. You can kind of tell by the shape. I believe they're from Cocoa Daisy. I have had those for years, and I was able to knock out 3 of them just in these layouts. I was so pleased about that. Still have a couple left, but at least I was able to use 3. That's pretty darn good, I think. So you know what? Actually, this was a DIY page protector because Simple Stories does not make the style where you can get a full 3x8 and then this. So I took just a full 6x8 and I made my own. I just did 1 line down the middle and then 1 here, and that's all it took. The only problem with that is, of course, then whatever goes in this lower pocket, you better be darn sure you want it in there because you have to drop it in and then seal that pocket. So once it's sealed, you can't do anything else unless you cut apart the page protector and take everything out. So here's the other side. Other than these, I mean, I kept this really simple, but again, more journaling. And over here, I had a lot to say, apparently. But I wanted to showcase these lovely photos. And again, mostly flat elements here. Little puffy stickers. They're not adding too much height on the page there. So I liked that. I really tried to do that. And actually, I don't think I used any acrylics in here. If I remember right, I don't think I did. So moving on, I'm still exploring the gardens here. Again, very flat on this side, just one little thing here. I actually used a sparkle glitter pen here. It's kind of hard to see. Maybe on the camera, can I get it to catch it? Yeah, there's a little sparkle. Just to add something because I didn't have a lot of embellishments. I needed something. So that was a good compromise. And then over here, this is chipboard. It's from Ellie's Studio though, very thin. And this heart, I think it's freckled fawn, if I'm not mistaken. And it's also chipboard, but again, they keep theirs pretty thin. And then this is one of my favorite layouts, not just because I love this. This is my favorite thing in the whole garden. So I do love it. And again, all of these are flat. I just layered a little bit, but they're flat. But over here, I figured out again, this is a close to my heart page protector. It came as a 4x12. So it had 4 slots that were 3x4 horizontals. I cut off most of that. I did half of the one down here and just decided to make this its own pocket and then sealed it on the side. It's kind of hard to see, but this was a side opener. See that? So I had to put in the sequins kind of sideways, shake them down, and then seal the pocket on the left side. I love the way it turned out. I like all the shiny things, the sparkle of it, and I think it just works really well with the color scheme that I have going. And these I think are also from Cocoa Daisy. This sticker is not. That was from Paper Crane, I believe was the line that it was from. But this was from an old Cocoa Daisy kit that was Asian themed, and I just happened to have a piece left that would work. So now this one is another interesting thing. Close to my heart makes photo flips. And one of the things I like is that in the 3x4 size, they make some that go to the side. So you're not stuck just using up and down. I actually think I'm starting to like this better because then it goes against this left seam and you don't see it. So it doesn't matter when you have it attached. And look how nicely it turns. Here's another one that opens on the right because I cut that down. I just needed a 3x8 there and that fit the bill. So after the gardens, we were off to do something else. So I have another screenshot here showing where we left to where we're going. This was kind of a bummer. My husband really wanted to go to New Glarus because that is where they make Spotted Cow beer. And since we were near it, we thought, all right, we'll go. Well, you know, we didn't check ahead of time. We just thought, well, we'll go, we'll explore the town, whatever. We got there and found out it wasn't open to the public because of COVID. They were only letting workers in. So we only got to see this little bit of the outside. So it just means we'll have to go back at another time. Because we were already there, we figured, all right, let's drive around the town, walk a little bit, see what we see. We didn't realize that this town was founded by Swiss settlers. So like 90% of their buildings and everything has a very Swiss theme, and you can see it in all of their stuff here. I mean, check these out. They're even flying the Swiss flag here. And this is very Swiss style architecture, very chalet looking. And we were done there. Just down the street, actually, from those buildings was this beautiful church, just kind of on its own on a little hill. And it was a lovely day. And so we got out and just walked around and looked at the architecture. And it's hard to see in the picture, but it actually does say Swiss United Church of Christ. So they take the Swiss business seriously. So when we were done there, my boys had found out that there was a gaming store in another town nearby. Whenever we travel with our boys, we tend to look around for gaming stores because they like old school kind of vintage games. Like they were looking for an old Mario game here. And so we're like, okay, whatever. It's not that far out of our way. We'll go. So we went over there, and this just cute little town here. So I was taking some photos around town while they were shopping in there. And then check this out. This was in front of the store. I've never seen anything like that. And it's the old school controller, which was always my favorite. So I thought that was fun. It was called Foster's Gaming and Collectibles. And they did end up finding an old copy of Mario Party 5. So they were excited. And then this is just a nice mural that was across the street from this train station, which is actually now a museum. It wasn't open when we were there, so we couldn't go in, but we know it's there. We can always go back. And then we were headed back to where we were staying. It was getting kind of late by then, sunset, as you can tell. So we wanted to get back and have dinner. And so that's my husband. And we're just having a nice fresh salad there. I had some Greek olives. It was lovely. But again, you can see very minimal embellishment. This is flat. It's just a digital circle that I punched out. Another chipboard. Oh, that's from that same set as the other one. So there I used 4, actually. I forgot about that one. So I have that, and then just a little puffy sticker. That's it. And another 3x8 that I DIY'd and put in there. And then I'm also a cross stitcher, and so I had that with me. I was working on Oxford there. So I had a picture of me being relaxed and working on that. Puffy sticker was it. That and journaling. Call it good. Then the next day, the boys had found several games by then. They wanted to stay back and game, so I said, see ya. And I went into Madison by myself because I knew they had a paper source, so I wanted to go there. I've only been in one other paper source ever, I think. Somewhere in the US, I don't remember where. So I thought, well, what the heck? It's not that far. I'm going to go. And then I also found a needlework store. So I was doing my crafty stuff while they were gaming, and that was just fine. So again, I have a screenshot here just talking about going off on my own and having a lovely time. And I just took some shots from inside the store, some more chipboard, fairly thin again, so really it doesn't add much weight to the page at all, which I love. And then over here, look at these gorgeous fabrics. I was so tempted to buy like everything I saw. I had to control myself. I did buy, but not a lot. This was my favorite, but it was kind of expensive, and I couldn't think of anything that I would use it for right away, so I didn't buy it. So after that, I drove back, and we were all ready to get out for a walk in the evening. It was lovely, beautiful summer night. So we just strolled around town. We did about 1.5 miles and just looking at what was around. So we saw some beautiful homes with these lovely sunflowers growing, a little small town church that was there. They have their own ball field, so they're big enough for that. And this was my favorite house that I saw in town. I just love the look of it. I love these. I just thought it was very cool. So it got its own photo slot there. And then our Airbnb was right over the river. And this was, if you walk down the street and around the corner, there's a bridge. And so this was the view from the bridge, and it was lovely. And then here we are back in town, and they have a little greenhouse flower shop place, and left some things outside, and so we were smelling those and just enjoying the lovely bright colors. And then we discovered they had a bowling alley, which we didn't know. So that's kind of interesting. I mean, with COVID, we didn't feel safe going in there and doing that, but it's nice to know that even a town that small, that they can support that in their community. So I think that's awesome. And then for our last dinner while we were there, we decided to splurge. My husband has to be on a restricted diet, so we normally cannot eat like this, but we decided we're gonna live it up this last night. And so we got some pub food from nearby town again, and it was fantastic. It was worth it. And then this is the morning actually when we were getting ready to leave. We were getting ready to check out of the Airbnb, and I had one of my boys take a picture of us since it was our 20th anniversary. I thought we deserve it. So that's a very nice photo of us together, I think. I like it. And plus it's got the nice bridge view in the back and the deck. And then here, this is all I did on this one. So I just made this. I used was it the Project Life app? I think it was. I used the Project Life app. I used a template that was in there for 6x8. I just dropped in those 4 photos, had it printed like that. All I did was slap on that little puffy sticker. That's it. Pretty simple. And then here we, again, stopped at a gaming store, but on the way home, we found out there was one in a town, and it wasn't out of our way. It was on our way anyway, so I'm like, sure, we can stop there. And I didn't really need to go in there, so once again, I was like, all right, see ya. I'm gonna go walk around town, see what I see. And I found some cool old buildings, and then this awesome mural on the side. So I found 2 really good murals in very small towns, which I did not expect, but that was great. I just realized I missed one of my DIY pages. Where is it? I'll know it when I see it because I had to make hits this one. So here's an example of styles I hope Simple Stories comes out with it at some point. I wanted a page protector that had the 4x6 on top and the 3x4 slots on the bottom, but Simple Stories does not make that for flip books. So I made it myself. I just made the pockets down here, put those in, sealed them, and then I had a top pocket left over, which was perfect for what I wanted. So if you have a fuse tool, there are lots of different variations you can do, and you can make these work even if you can't find the ones sold the way that you want them. So I will certainly advocate looking at Close to My Heart because that gutter will work, so that is definitely an option. There may be other companies as well. I just haven't discovered them yet, but that's a good place to start. So now you've seen this album in its entirety. It's already done, and I can put it on the shelf. Thanks for watching.